Hey, welcome, welcome. It is Wellness Wednesday. Excited here to bring to you Dear Camille. Let's talk about it. I'm all about discussing various ways of wellness in our lifestyles because a lot of us, again, feel like as if wellness is only about fitness. How many of you drop a one if that's what you're always thinking of when you hear wellness? It's fitness, and eating kale chips, just nutrition. Drop a one if that's what you hear too as well. And as well, while you're there, I'd love to know where you're all tuning into. So, right where you're from, let's all stay connected and let's learn together all about the key areas of wellness. There's so many different areas of wellness. But before we get into today's discussion, let me tell you a little bit about who I am and what I do. As you all know, this is Dear Camille Wellness Wednesday, and I am the founder of We Got This Mind and Body, where I encourage your busy women in business to truly learn to prioritize living a healthier lifestyle through key areas of wellness, such as your mindset, your movement, that metabolism, and of course, that maintenance. It's all about regaining that energy, building that confidence without excessive workouts or fad diets. And it's truly about loving the skin that you are in every season of life. It's no longer summer body right, it's staying body right? It's mind, body, and soul. So I have a amazing program that's coming up this April called the Spring Fling 90 Days to Loving the Skin That You Are In. And it's all about a community of like minded women working together over the next 12 weeks to regain that energy, that confidence through live workouts, recorded workouts, amazing masterclasses on understanding food and understanding how it works for our bodies, and most importantly knowing that there's different areas that may be affecting our overall results, such as our hormones, having any form of imbalance, even most importantly our gut health. It's truly understanding the whole holistic look of wellness, because when you truly do, you will become into the most optimal state, because again you have the energy, the confidence, and as I always say, the body keeps the score. When you are working on yourself internally, what happens is the body says, thank you. Can I get a one for a thank you? One, one, one. Because it sees all the work that you're doing on the inside, and that's where the results come, because we're taking care of what's going on internally. Because as I mentioned, there's other factors that could be hindering why you're not losing weight, or why you feel so sluggish, or that brain fog. So much more than just what we're looking at when we see the reflection in the mirror. And this is what I love to bring to you all every single Wednesday, because it's truly about understanding the skin that you are in. So, today, what are we talking about? Today, we're going to be discussing the importance of getting a better sleep, having a better sleeping pattern, especially as busy women in business, as mompreneurs, as women in business, supporting women in business. It's just as a whole. Let's just say this in general. As a woman, we need to understand and be more aware of the importance of having a full night's rest. It is crucial for our health and well being, right? We always talk about we want to look great, we want to feel great, but not truly understand that there's little factors such as sleep as actually a greater factor than we think, that we need to also incorporate so we could get those lasting results, because it's all about building up lifestyle habits. I know, especially when it comes to sleep, we overlook it. Like, I'll say, for an example, my husband always says to me, because he's self employed. So I'm just going to put a little disclaimer here. He's self employed. So he always says, sleep is for the employed. Sleep is for the employed. He doesn't listen. He doesn't hear. It's not for the employed. It's not for the entrepreneur. It's for the human. We as humans, in order for us to come to our in the optimal state in our mind, body, soul, be more productive, less irritable. When you don't sleep, you don't think about how irritated you are when you have lack of sleep. Think about a child when you put them to bed and you wake them up. How are they excited to get up, or are they irritated, especially if they have a shortened sleep? It's the same with us adults, us humans. We need to make sure that we are loving into ourselves by getting a good night's rest. The benefits of the good night, it's like a tongue twister. Benefits of having a good night's rest provides so much, such as physical, mental, and emotional benefits. The physical that you get is it helps repair and rejuvenate that body. As we're going through this thing called life, and especially because we are now becoming more active, right? Right. We're becoming more active. We need to ensure that we also are resting. I always say you got to stick to the 3 R's: is repetition, rest, and repeat. Reps, rest, repeat. You need to rest your body after it's worked out. It is a way how your body is able to repair itself. It also, whenever you get that afterburn, what's happening is that your body is actually burning the calories to build up that lean muscle. But in order for it to do that, it needs to have rest so it can regain that oxygen that it requires to build back up its energy and its strength. So we need to make sure that we do have that sleep for our physical. Mentally, it helps improve our cognitive function, our memory, our concentration, and especially our emotions. Especially when we're going to get to that shortly, but it really does, because when we are able to get that good sleep, we are able to get into our mindset to just give it a rest, give it a time out, let it just flow. And I always say, whenever you are going to go to rest, ensure that you are not going to sleep just before watching a horror movie or falling asleep to the television or having your phone in your hand. Because believe it or not, our bodies go to rest, but our mind is always going. Just as our heart is always beating and we're always breathing, our mind is always moving and it's always thinking and it's taking in everything around it. That's why a lot of people will have white noises, those silent noises. Or what I love to do, I love to go to sleep to positive seminars or affirmations or anything of that such, because I find that when I do, I wake up with so much more peace in my heart. So it really is imperative that you make sure that when you are about to go to sleep, that you are not going to sleep to just before looking at your phone or keeping that television off, because your mind is still listening and it needs to rest. And that's why it needs to rest is because of your emotions. Remember, your emotions are all derived from the thoughts that go through your mind. And the thoughts and how you translate it will determine how you react and act towards it. And your reaction and action are all derived off of your emotions. So when you get the good sleep, it helps to regulate your moods and your stress levels. Do you ever notice something? Think about this: when you were in school and you had exams to do. You'd stay up all night, cram it up, cram it up. You have the jitters, for myself, the only reason I actually was successful in my exams is because, yes, I studied all night. I didn't sleep, had the jitters, and then I would just crash it, go straight to the exam, crash it out. And then I would literally crash for 2 days thereafter. I'd bang out the exam. And the only reason I did well on that is because it was on short-term memory. But if you had asked me 3 days after I took a rest from that crash course of exams, what that exam was about and what I wrote, I'd say, honey child, that's yesterday's news. I would have no memory of it because it was really based on short-term memory. But if I had taken the time to really spread out some of my studies, this is not all courses, but those crash courses, you know what I'm talking about. If I'd taken that time out, had even more adequate sleep before my exam, not only would I be going to the exam well rested, my mind would be a lot more clear. I would have fully engaged and understood what I was doing and to be able to apply it thereafter. How many of us could say how many exams that we do when we were teenagers we don't apply or do it now? And it's maybe there are, I guarantee there's stuff that we learn from everything that we've taken in school, but it's how much do we pay attention, right? And a lot of it has to go with sleep. I don't even think about it again. Look how much the child needs to sleep. I always say that it should be a part of the school system that we add back like a credit for sleep for teenagers, because as our minds are also developing, we need that sleep. That's why babies sleep for so many hours when they're born, is because their brain is developing. It also goes for with the teenagers. You see, we're like, oh my gosh, just get to sleep till 3 p.m. How many of you could relate to that? How many of you see those teenagers that take forever to get up? Sometimes just let them be, because their body is growing, their brain is developing, and they need that extra sleep. But in saying that, as adults, It doesn't mean that we need less. We still need to have that sleep because there's so much danger to not having the sleep. So let's talk about those dangers. Not sleeping well, it really affects your overall well-being because it leads to that fatigue, the irritability, the reducing your productivity. Yes, you may feel like as if you're getting things done, but it's like I always say, are you busy or are you busy? Are you really getting things done in the optimal way that you should be? Or are you just getting it done? It also weakens our immune system. And that's why we can also tell when people are not feeling well, when they're sleeping extra, it's because your body needs to restore itself. So if you're not giving your body time to rest and recover, that immune system is going to be compromised, right? Our body's going to pull from other areas to build back up the energy or to fight any of those bad bacteria or ill viruses that are in our system. And if we don't allow our body to just be at pause, be at that pause so that our own internal selves can really work on restoring back that strength. We have everything that we need to be optimal in our lives, but we tend to be our own reflectors, our resistance because we're constantly trying to do everything. Did you actually know that the word multitasking came from a computer program from the 50s and 60s, somewhere on the late 50s, 60s? And it was to talk about how this new computer that is going to be invented is going to be able to multitask, do various tasks all at the same time. Us humans are actually not technically meant to multitask. And even when I do my wellness programs, that's why I do them in step by step. We don't cram in all the wellness all together. We do it on a transitional basis so we could fully engage and engulf and understand each step of the process because we want to make sure we're getting all of the benefits. So again, when you have a lower immune system, that makes you more susceptible to illnesses and infections. And you know what? The worst is chronic sleep deprivation. It can lead to more serious health, such as obesity, diabetes, and heart disease. If you look at a lot of late shift workers, those nighttime workers, God bless them because you know what? Their work is so great. And we're grateful for it because it allows us to get the products and services that we are able to use during the day. So thank you for the work that you do. But I please also encourage you all to get that sleep during the day because you will see a lot of factory workers may be obese. They have autoimmune illnesses because they're constantly when your sleeping patterns offset, right? And when it's offset, and then when the day comes, you may be a parent that has to still take your kids to school even after working an 8-hour shift. And then everything else, groceries, laundries, all come into play. But we need to make sure that we're getting that sleep because these bad habits or these dangers will slowly creep up on you. It doesn't happen overnight. No, it is a gradual, just as weight gain and weight loss. It's all gradual. So we need to make sure that we are also doing that. And also, if we're not getting that sleep at nighttime, we get that daytime drowsiness. And that's why I say it's so important if we could really look at our bedroom as our sacred space, a space where we go to sleep, we go in, and everything else. But it's a sacred space where our mind is not overstimulated by everything else that we do, by like the television or our phones. And it allows us to get into a more deeper sleep, especially if you're able to get a darker place. So having your blinds down, right? If you want to set the tone so that you could be fully engaged and relaxed because you want to make sure that you're getting that sleep. There's so many perils to not sleeping well, such as your moodiness, the poor memory. How many people get in road accidents? We even see with the trucks, they have to log in their hours, not because of their pay, but because of their sleep. Because they could be a weapon to all other people on the highway if they have not slept. As soon as alert as you are just driving, 1 minute, the next minute you could be sleeping. So it's very important for us because we can get into other accidents because of road accidents because of slow reactions and drowsiness and falling asleep at the seat at the wheel, right? So how do we ensure to get good sleep? Well, This is what I'm all about, right? Who's rocking with me? Who's rocking with me? All right, let's do this. Let's do this. I'm not all about just telling you. It's not even about telling you. It's giving you these options, but it's up to you to take those actions. It's up to you to say today's the day that I'm going to really put some development into myself so that I could be even greater in everything else that I do. So I really encourage you all to join my 90 days of loving the skin that you are in program. Click the link. I will definitely share the link. It's on all of my socials. And there's a great deal for all those that sign up early. Let's commit to yourself today that you are going to make these changes. I'm giving you all these advices, but if you're not taking the action, it just becomes just empty words, information that goes into your head, but that's it. We got to take those actionable steps in order to overly achieve these goals, to get these results. We're always saying it to ourselves, but we always come up with those other excuses too. Not today. Click, commit, and be ready because it's all about building up that lifestyle. It's fun. It's a community because I don't know about y'all, but this here, it's like, I have to remember something. I'm doing this with you. So you're not doing it alone. You could do this program wherever you are, whether you're at the gym, at your home, on vacation, and we're all doing it together. So we're all getting summer body right, your mind right, and feeling great from within. And when we love ourselves so very much, we will really take in these steps to improving these sleeping patterns and actually take action. So what can we do? First, it's really important to establish a consistent sleeping schedule, like a routine. Where do you go to bed and wake up? Do you wake up at the same time, or do you go to bed at the same time? Let's build up a routine. And as I said, you want to create a relaxing atmosphere, such as having it with your blinds, so a darker area, without your television or any form of other distractions that may come your way. Yes, you can listen to some nice music if it does something that relaxes you, or meditation, or even having those. I love to listen to affirmations. Also, reading a great book that just really warms your heart and really relaxes yourself. And oh, what about that warm bath? It's all about the routines to signal your body that it's time to sleep. You're setting the tone for your own body. Remember, there's your physical and your spiritual self within you. You have your inner and your outer. When you have them both aligned, what is great about that is it works in unison. It works together. So while you're prepping that physical body with the warm bath, the great music, the great book reads, and you go into your room for the physical, into the nice area, the dark area, your spiritual is really at peace and is really calm and ready to get you into that sleep a lot faster than staying up and looking at the ceiling. So it's truly about really setting that tone. And thirdly, make sure your sleep environment, yeah, as I said, is conducted to sleep. Make it a sacred place. And please, let's start limiting that electronic use, So another thing is, let's look at how much sleep do you actually need. Somebody's going to tell you about this chart that I have. So if you're a person age 65 and older, you require about 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Even missing an hour and a half of that required, or recommended amount of sleep, can have an impact on your overall drowsiness and irritability for that day. For age 26 to 64, it's 7 to 9 hours. Just a little bit more because we are still using that brain a lot more productively, like in our businesses, with our children, and everything else in between. 18 to 25, it's the same. We still need to have that 7 to 9 hours. But here you go. This is where the teenagers, you're looking at 8 to 10 plus hours of sleep. That's your chill. So when you leave them, sometimes it's the weekend, let them sleep, but make sure that they do their chores afterwards, right? Exactly. And also, so for the toddlers, age 1 to 2 years old, they require 11 to 14 hours of sleep. Ages 4 to 11 months is ages 4 months to 11 months. Sorry about that. Is 12 to 15 hours a day. Newborns 14 to 17 hours a day. So, and all of this data is per the National Sleep Foundation. And we need to make sure that we are getting between those hours. Because as I said, even an hour and a half of missing that can make a huge impact on your overall wellness for the day. And when your body is lacking sleep, it doesn't have the energy to burn out those calories and that fat, as well as even to be active. Like as you say, oh, I'm not motivated to be active. I'm too tired. Well, have you checked your sleep lately? Have you really checked it lately? Let's look at that. So what I do with my clients is I do for the first little bit is weekly journals. So when we hear about journals, we always think about it just as journals and journaling for our gratitude or affirmations or even a planner. But if we have a journal on our sleeping as well as our eating, we can really start to see where the disconnect is in our results. Because if our eating and our sleeping is not aligned with our active living, what's going to happen is you're going to feel like the active living or the program or whatever you're doing is not working because these other parts of your life are imbalanced, and we tend to ignore them. Not even ignore them. We're not aware of them. So I can't say ignore it because a lot of us don't realize there's so much more, because in the news or what we see on TVs, we're constantly inundated with information on weight loss. We need to weight loss, feel weight, all these muscles. Yeah, yeah, and be great. But it neglects us. I always use this example. Your engine is broken, right? It needs to be repaired. You go to a detailing shop because they have space to get, to service your vehicle. That detailing shop does the best job to your car. Shines it up. It looks like Pimp My Ride. It looks fantastic on the outside. You get in that car, looking good, smelling great, looking around. You turn that ignition on and put it in drive to go. Kerkunk, 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 kerkunk. Because the engine was never repaired. You may look great on the outside, and that's why we can't look at weight and say somebody is, unhealthy based on their weight just from what you see. You could be feeling fit, I should say, feeling fit or even skinny and still not be healthy within. And still not, and a lot of it could be, again, sleep, hormones, gut health, stress, irritability, medication, not understanding the foods that you're eating, high sugar and processed food intake. So there's so much. And that's why there's coaches like myself. Because a lot of people are like, what? I could do this myself. I could do this myself. I could do this with all this information that Camille's given me. That's fine. I don't need anything else. And I always say to people, if that's the case, why haven't you done it yet? Or if you have a membership, how long has it, how often have you went and used it? Or are they making money? I'm guilty of that. I'll tell you that right now. Good Life got a good, like, hundreds of dollars from me on a membership that I completely forgot about for over 5 years. Yeah. Because it was so low, right? The price was so low. So I forgot about it. It's just like when we're saving money, right? I always say when I used to do investments and stuff, I used to tell people, you got to pay yourself first, put a little aside for yourself. And at first a little bit may feel like you notice that little variance there, but then all of a sudden life goes on and you naturally subconsciously readjust your life and completely forget about it. It's the same thing that happens with gym memberships, with diets, because those are unrealistic once you actually start to eat the way you like, the foods that you like. It's truly about understanding the food that go into your system, and even to understand that certain foods are maybe preventing you from having a good sleep as well. Remember, if you have a high diet, a diet high in sugar and processed foods, your body's jittering, baby. It's jittering. It's not being able to digest. It is having those cravings. Your overstimulation. Sugar is a drug. It's just legal, right? All right, so me, I love talking about everything wellness, and I just love to come here to the Dear Camille Wellness Wednesdays every single Wednesday to enlighten you all about the powers of understanding your wellness. It is greater than just fitness. It is greater than just nutrition. It's all about loving and understanding that mindset, loving the individual that you are, nobody else, not requiring love from anybody else, but the love that you have for yourself within, implementing and taking action on doing the work. You have to do the work in order to see the results, and get the training, get the understanding, and most importantly, believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. Know that you are worth all of the time that it takes to get to that optimal state. Understand that it does take time. Fine wine takes time, baby. So be fine, because you're wine and you're so worth it. So Thank you all for joining me today. Get some sleep. It is late now. If this is Eastern Standard Time for you, it is almost bedtime. And if it's even later or earlier, just set that night routine. Work on that morning routine. We'll talk about that in the coming weeks. And most importantly, don't forget to always love the skin that you are in through the action that you take today, and celebrate and get excited for who you're becoming tomorrow. This is Camille from We Got This Mind and Body, all about teaching that busy woman in business to truly prioritize living a healthier lifestyle through key areas of wellness, such as your mindset, metabolism, maintenance, and movement. It's all about getting that energy and confidence without excessive workouts and fad diets, and truly loving the skin that you are in, and being a part of a growing community of like minded women that are there for accountability, support. You have guest coaches, you have opportunities to learn more about your nutrition, how to properly meal prep, and do it all and have fun. It's not a chore. We are going to truly, truly, truly get into the fling of things this spring. Let's do this. Can't wait to see you all. Until next Wednesday, you got this. We got this. Now, let's go to sleep. Ciao.